Alrighty, this is a video response to SBG Aussie MGTOW. I'll mention you. I know that's a thing I can do on my channel. I don't know how to do the little video response where it's your video and then I'm like a little talking head on green screen. I'm learning, trying to figure all this stuff out. But Aussie asked the question on his channel. He was on a walk, and this was just something served up to me today, so I watch it and I'm choosing to respond to it. I've never seen Aussie before. I need to check out your channel a little more. But he asked about religion and belief, if it's necessary. Do we need that? So I don't even know where to start. Gut response is yes, we need it. Alternative is materialism, which I feel like is not a good outlook for your mental health, okay? And let's put aside whether it's true or not. The second thing is, given some of our modern advances on top of our traditions, I feel like strict materialism, is a coping mechanism because you don't want to think about what else there is or it might be. So by denying that, it allows you to not deal with those problems or those questions. And then let me backtrack and say that, you were talking about astrophysics and stuff. So the heavens declare his wonder. How you can look up at the stars, you collectively, anybody, and not just be utterly baffled. You know what I mean? Just awestruck, kind of beyond me. And yeah, I too, in college, I took some courses and expanded my technical knowledge on that, and I really appreciated it. And now I got kiddos, so we go to look at the stars under telescopes and talk about things like that. And it's interesting because, like all kids, my kids are, ooh, dinosaurs, and millions of years ago. Well, okay. I don't want to, I'm going to just go way off on a tangent because like now we got some of the top people talking about simulation theory. Well, I like to design games and systems and stuff. So when I design them, like I instantiate them, right? So I don't want to go off on a whole tangent of instantaneous creation like Augustine, or 7 days literal creation, or 7 billion years long scale, or I personally think that maybe it's somewhere in between, like let there be light, and there was, and light, as we know, condenses into matter. And that could have gone on for however long because there were things going on in the heavens. You know what I mean? Like the Lord was not bored. So then, you know what I mean? The creation story of us, we can go a couple of routes. The sci-fi way, I've argued, like the way that the Bible reads is like something showed up here, started messing around with the elements and the life here, and instilled their being, and off we go. So, that's a little more sci-fi and interpretation of the Genesis story. I digress. I'm going off on way too much. My point is, you've got like Albert Einstein, who ultimately talked about, God determining odds, outcomes, and I think, was it Feynman? There was a famous physicist, and I want to say it was Richard Feynman, that it's like when you start physics, you become an atheist essentially, but when you get to the bottom, you find God again. And now we're seeing that with just how complex it is all the way down and what that means for our universe, our multiverse. So even when people are like, wait, that's cocky to think that we're the only life in this universe, please. If I always put myself in the what would I do thing. Like, if I was this, or if I was a mad scientist, or if I was a creator, what would I do? Why would I not? Why would I not? If I have the power to spool up 1,000 of them, like server instances, and just see what happens and put in different rules and do. That's why God's so far above us. That's why God is sovereign. Is these things are intellectually possible, so they're theoretically possible. And the materialism view, coming all the way back, there's an argument about, we'd be able to know, we'd be able to detect. Somebody was recently on Joe Rogan talking about the Hadron Collider, or CERN, and how like they would know if there's a soul or something like that. Does Mario? inside the simulation? Is he aware of the tie back of me controlling him and the instructions being passed, or does he just experience them phenomenally? So, way overboard, I know. But my other consideration is Pascal's wager, right? So you've got 4 quadrants. You've got, does God exist? Yes. Does God exist? No. And then, do you believe? Yes and no. You believe in God exists? Heaven. You believe in God, you don't believe in God exists? Hell. You don't believe in God doesn't exist? Nothing. Materialism, and you go to the ground. You do believe and God does not exist, you're probably going to be a better person for it. So Pascal's wager is, it's better to wager that, to act as if God exists, because if you're wrong, the worst that can happen is you were a better person and you were able to better cope. So I'm going to land this boat. And if anybody else is watching, comment down below. And I want to know what you think. I don't think, when you say religion or belief, I think belief is important. But then there's this whole argument you can go on with Christianity and the Lord's sovereignty, and like this, what's the argument called? It's basically like the tribesmen out there. So you mean to tell me that God's going to condemn a tribesman that's never heard of Jesus Christ to hell? It's like, God's sovereign and reveals himself to all of us where we are and how he likes. So that's above my pay grade. You know what I mean? But like, one would hope, I would hope, the Lord being loving and sovereign, that he can have a conversation with that person in their heart, in physical reality if need be, just as easily as he can with me. Maybe even more so, because I have the luxury of, I'm swimming in digital networks and communication and knowledge. And so for the people that are truly isolated, if God's not going to meet them or provide an opportunity for them to come to saving grace through him, it doesn't fit with everything else I believe about God. So, I'm gonna land this plane. Anybody got questions, comments, or snide remarks? Also, I'm gonna tag you, and I hope we can continue this conversation. I'm glad to have run across you today. Be well, brother, and be blessed.